All right, this one's called 15 Things You Did Not Know About India. I bet you I know one of these. Hit the like button if you're new around here. I'm Hugo. Let's get started.
15 things you didn't know about India. Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired.
Yeah, that's me, future billionaire.
Hello, Aluxers, and welcome back to another fascinating video. Today we're looking at an incredible
What
fact
is
you
that?
didn't
What
know
is that
about the
green
7th
stuff?
largest country in the world, India. With a population of over 1 billion people, India is one of the most influential and powerful countries in the world.
Yeah, you guys are coming up. Like, it wasn't until like a year ago I was like, wow, there's a 1.5 billion India people. I was like, that population is nutty. And obviously I've been watching a bunch of movies, so I'm starting to learn here and there. But I really don't delve into the politics or like the day-to-day life of, I guess, said country. But help me learn.
Its cultural history is particularly complex.
Wow, that's cool looking. I wonder, like, there's just some architect that was like, let's make this gnarly, awesome looking place. What is that? Wow.
And detailed, spanning 4,500 years of predominantly Hindu philosophy and theology. Thousands of years later, modern
big
India
ol'
is
elephant.
profoundly different, with its own colossal film industry, a diverse population, and an astonishingly big workforce. Because alux.com is dedicated to becoming the world's best resource on the most interesting countries and destinations, we couldn't wait to
Y'all
bring
got
you 15
camels?
things you didn't
Of course you
know
got
about
camels.
India. Number 1.
Is it really a Bollywood sign? Bollywood's highest grossing film.
Bollywood's highest grossing film made 27 times more than Hollywood's highest grossing film.
That's what I need to see. Like, all right, what
For
what
every
movie
600
was it?
films Hollywood produces, Bollywood will make 1,000. They're the most
That's
profitable
true.
films, too, when you compare the numbers. Hollywood's highest grossing film was 2009's Avatar, which made
great
$2.8
movie. I
billion
loved
at
it.
the box office. In stark contrast, the Bollywood film
Three
Three
Idiots.
Idiots brought in $76.81 billion. Now,
What? I didn't know that. That's not even. How did I reacted? We reacted to Three Idiots. It was a great movie. I loved it. One of the best movies I've ever seen. Every time I meet someone, I'm like, you have to watch this film. But I didn't know that. That's an insane amount of money. Like, one, I hope the actors got paid well. And that's just.
that's a profit.
That's insane. I did not know that. Good job.
Number 2.
That was a great one to start with.
Shampoo was invented in the 16th century, India.
All right, guys. You guys are always claiming that you guys invented this, that. Was it really herbal essence?
Derived from the Sanskrit champu, which means
Champu.
massage, the concept of shampooing was invented in India in the 16th century. Herbs and natural ingredients were used then, rather than today's combination of modern chemicals and fragrances. In particular, gooseberry, saphindus, and fruit pulp.
Man, I'm hungry.
When colonial visitors came to India, they brought the practice of shampooing and hair washing back with them to Europe.
Huh, classic.
Number 3. Diamonds were first mined in India, and it was the world's greatest producer. India was the most productive diamond mining country in the world until diamonds were found in Brazil in the 18th century. There are now 3 active diamond mines in India, and the famous Kohinoor diamond was found in the 13th century. The 793-carat stone went from person to person and was eventually acquired by Queen Victoria during the British Raj in India.
Isn't that, like, awful? I remember when we reacted to RRR. I'm sorry, baby. You okay?
Yeah.
That there was a comment saying, like, all of our, famous, like, jewels and prized possessions were stolen by the British Empire, that's.
Number 4. Elephants in Kerala can treat themselves to a spa day.
Oh, that sounds
Punathur
nice.
Kata Elephant Yard Rejuvenation Center provides elephants with baths, massages, and soothing pamper sessions. The spa caters to 59 clients and is a way of giving back to the sacred animal. Elephants play an important role in Kerala's temple processions and are a significant feature of the region, so they deserve a massage every now and then.
I agree. 100%.
Number 5. The largest religious gathering in India can be seen from space. Kumbh Mela is a Hindu pilgrimage which takes people to the banks of the Ganges every 12 years. The major event involves ritualistic bathing, devotional singing, religious discussion, and feeding the poor. The attendance figures had to be capped at 75 million, making it the largest pilgrimage on Earth.
I'm going to have to blur some of these images.
Number 6. Ancient Indian civilization is the oldest in the world. We often look to ancient Greece and ancient Egypt, but Indian civilization dates back to 2400 BC, when it was split into 16 monarchies known as the Mahajanapadas. There are even authenticated human remains that date back to 30,000 years in South Asia. The oldest Hindu texts were written between 2000 and 500 BC, as well as the first texts on science, medicine, and astronomy. We actually owe the number 0 to Indian mathematics, who created the concept.
That is interesting that numbers didn't exist at one point until they did by someone who can figure out the same mathematical problem as the next person eventually. It's just crazy. Like how anything came to be.
Number 7. India is home to every major world religion and doesn't have a national language.
It doesn't have a national language,
Hinduism,
but isn't there like
Christianity, Buddhism, Islam,
language
and
everyone
Sikhism
kind of picks?
all have a place in Indian society,
No,
with the most
maybe.
dominant being Hinduism and Islam, covering 80% and 14% of the population, respectively. Judaism has existed in India for the last 2,215 years, and some of these smaller religions also featured, including Jain, Zoroastrian, and Baha'i. India also doesn't have a single national language because 1,652 dialects are spoken across the different regions.
Yeah, there's some a ridiculous amount of languages.
Number 8. A polling station is set up for just one voter in Gir Forest at every election. Every election, Marant Barandas Dashandas gets his local polling station entirely to himself because he's the only resident of Gir Forest. He's been voting in Indian elections since 2004 and never misses one now that he has his own personal polling station.
I mean, that's
Mahant is the
kind of
caretaker
cool.
for the one temple in the forest in Gujarat, a home he shares with the rare Asiatic lion. Number
That's so
9.
scary.
The Indian government has used scaffolding to hide the Taj Mahal when airstrikes are predicted. During the Second World War and the Indian-Pakistan Wars, scaffolding was put up around the distinctive domes of the Taj Mahal to make it less obvious from above. They feared strikes by the Japanese Air Force during World War II, so hid their most famous landmark. More recent threats to the Taj Mahal include the rising levels of the Yamuna River, which has cracked the tomb underneath the structure. There have been predictions that the tombs could collapse at any time. Check out our video, 15 Most Expensive Man-Made Attractions in the World, to find out what ranks along the stunning Taj Mahal. Number 10. Indians invented navigation, yoga, the world's cheapest
I heard
car,
GPS or
and
something
thorium-based nuclear power. Indian society can take credit for some of the most important inventions in the world. They were the first to create the concept of navigation, over 6,000 years ago, using rivers and seas. Yoga was created 5,000 years ago and has roots in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. The world's cheapest car, the Tata Nano, which costs around 100,000 rupees, the equivalent of $1,400. And India is the home of the first...
Let me get one of those. Comment down below if you have one of those. For real.
Next generation thorium reactor. The country is aiming to produce 30% of its electrical power with thorium by 2050.
That's pretty cool.
Number 11. You can stay at the former Indian royal residence for $88,000 a night.
That's it, just
$88,000. If you want to stay at the lap of luxury, forget Paris and forget Dubai. India is the home of the most stunning palaces in the world. Once the home of the Maharajas, there are opulent palaces throughout the country, with some dating back hundreds of years. The Kumarakam Lake Resort hosted Prince Charles's 65th birthday, and the 450-year-old Samod Palace in Jaipur has hosted famous faces from all over the world.
That looks familiar.
Number 12. King Jai Singh of Alwar snubbed Rolls-Royce in the best possible way. India has a long and colorful history of quirky monarchies and extravagant kings and queens. The King of Alwar in northeast India was insulted by a Rolls-Royce salesman when he visited a showroom in London. A very proud man, he ordered a whole fleet of Rolls-Royce cars and gave them to the city's waste department so they could use them to transport rubbish throughout the city.
That's crazy. That's badass. I like
Indians
that.
are millionaires. India has one of the
Jeez.
most dramatic wealth gaps in the world, with 35%
true.
of the country living below the poverty line. Those who live way above it live a very different kind of life. The richest Indian in the world is Mukesh Ambani, who has a net worth of $53 billion.
God.
The 59-year-old made his money in the oil and gas industry, and his billion-dollar home
Makes
recently
sense.
made headlines because he
Holy, that's his? I've seen pictures of this, but I you don't know whose it is. That is so cool looking. How do you guys feel about that? I don't want to like geek out over someone everyone hates, but I don't know. It's just
chose to build a 27-story skyscraper instead of a
27.
sprawling mansion.
That's cool.
Number 14. The first account of plastic surgery was found in an ancient Sanskrit text. One of the first medical texts was the Sushruta Samhita, which can be dated back to the 6th century CE. It's one of the very first examples of a medical text and discusses surgery, incisions, skin grafts, and nose reconstruction. Britain's first nose job wouldn't be performed until 1814, a worrying 80 years before the Sushruta Samhita would be translated.
Interesting. Yeah, I also read about
Number 15.
To be fair, there's always a comment like, we did it first. And I always take it with a grain of salt because, half the time we don't know. But it is fun to see. I did see someone comment that they were first in plastic surgery, which also was very interesting to me because I'm like, how do you even know that? But I guess in this case, if you have an ancient script and it's like the first one documented, it's kind of hard to go against that.
India's most extravagant weddings caused controversy because it was too extravagant. Lasting 5 days and costing $74 million, the wedding of the daughter of a prominent businessman made headlines in 2016 for all the wrong reasons.
The best wedding just happened
$2.5
lately.
million wedding sari, Bollywood royalty in attendance, and gold Bangalore palace setting was denounced as an obscene display of wealth. Millions.
God, how would they feel about the wedding that happened this year? Was it Akasha's wedding? Dang it.
Of Indians live in poverty, so the wedding was criticized for being in poor taste.
It does feel like it is kind of they don't really need to go all out like
there
that.
are many stereotypical images of India, but there's so much more to this incredible country than many of us know. The center of many industries and the world's biggest democracy, India has influenced art, literature,
God, I need to watch a
medicine,
cricket video.
Potentially more than any other nation. If you could take a trip to this beautiful, fascinating country, where would you find yourself? In a gorgeous
Okay, look, I would like to think that I would just go hang out with, I don't know, normal everyday population. But I also would love to, experience some of the more extravagant things. I am not by any means capable of financing a trip like that. But it would be cool to just visit India in general. I don't know what would be like my itinerary or anything like that. But one day I would like to go visit. This is a cool video. I really enjoyed it. The architecture is really what grabs me. It's vastly different. Obviously, that's, with every country you go to. But it's very unique. Yeah. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. And I will see you for the next video. Bye.